Thank you, Mr. Huber. Ladies and gentlemen, shareholders, good morning and welcome to Hanover to the annual general meeting of Volkswagen Aktiengesellschaft, and welcome to your company. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, to put it cautiously, the past couple of days have been quite eventful. I know that many of you have been concerned about Volkswagen, about the company that is so close to all of our hearts. In the past few years, we've made Volkswagen into a strong and highly respected group. And this success story, ladies and gentlemen, will continue. And that's why it's good that we have now returned to calmer waters, that we have achieved clarity about our future direction, and above all, that we can completely concentrate on our business. Thank you. I really was very heartened by the fact that the team didn't let up at all over the past few weeks. On the contrary, everyone continued to work hard on putting the best cars on the road for our customers. And this cannot and will not change, with 100% focus on our vehicles and technologies, on efficiency, on earnings power, and of course on our customers. At the same time, the Executive or Steering Committee and the Supervisory Board are working hard to swiftly resolve the remaining issues with regard to the composition of the supervisory bodies in the best possible manner. And I'd like to take this opportunity to personally welcome our two new Supervisory Board members, Dr. Kiesling and Ms. Kuhn-Pirch. We're looking forward to working together with you. Ladies and gentlemen, for me, there's one crucial factor. It's that Volkswagen will continue to stand for teamwork and a strong team performance in the future. And this is, in fact, a task for each and every one of us. For you, our shareholders, for the Supervisory Board, for the Board of Management and managers, and the entire workforce right down to our apprentices. Our common and overarching goal is to steer the Volkswagen Group towards a successful future, and everything else is secondary. And as I've said often, there will not be any complacency in the company, because the automotive industry is changing at a breathtaking pace. We cannot and must not stand still. And this is why, in the past year, we launched our forward-looking Future Tracks efficiency program. But more on this later on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important for me at this point to thank Professor Pirch on behalf of all 600,000 employees, but also personally. In the past 5 decades, Ferdinand Pirch has shaped the automotive industry like no other person, as an entrepreneur, as an engineer, and above all, as a courageous visionary. This group and its people, and I personally, have much to thank Dr. Pirch for, and that is something that will not change. And we and I have great respect for this lifetime achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past couple of weeks, there have been numerous interpretations, speculations, and unfortunately, exaggerations. And it's important for you, our shareholders, to know that Volkswagen is a fundamentally sound and well-positioned company. It's a company that we can be proud of, a company with very good business results and prospects for the future that are at least as good. And that is what this AGM should be all about. And so, with no further ado, let us look back at the past fiscal year. 2014 put the entire automotive industry to the test. Key markets such as Brazil and Russia weakened dramatically. Volatile exchange rates made things even more difficult for many companies. And in addition, uncertainty about the future course of the global economy hasn't exactly been good for business. Conditions, we have to say quite honestly, were extremely tough. But your company did not stumble. In 2014, we ensured that the year was another successful year for the Volkswagen Group. Of the numerous highlights of the year, I find four particularly important. Highlight number one, we launched a wide variety of compelling vehicles. The best symbol of these is the new Volkswagen Passat. Recently crowned Car of the Year, arguably the automotive industry's most important award. And with more than 150,000 orders having already come in Europe, it is winning customers over from premium competitors. And then, highlight number two, we continued rolling out pioneering innovations. The Volkswagen Group is a technology leader, especially when it comes to plug-in hybrids. We've already got 7 plug-in hybrids in our lineup, from the Audi A3 e-tron to the Golf GTE and to the Cayenne SE hybrid. And then highlight number 3. In the high-margin premium segment, we've become even stronger. Audi's deliveries grew faster than those of its 2 main German competitors, and Porsche, too, is speeding from record to record under the outstanding leadership of Matthias Müller. And I'd like to welcome Matthias Müller up here on stage for the first time. And this has been achieved at Porsche thanks not least to fascinating new models like the Macan. And finally, highlight number 4, we've further strengthened our leading position in China. For example, we extended our partnership with FAW for a further 25 years. You've no doubt read that the Chinese market is changing. It is maturing, and it's not growing as fast and dynamically as in the past. And as the number 1 in China, we are also under close scrutiny from the competition. But we have many more plans for China. This is underscored by the fact that we aim to expand production capacity to over 5 million units a year by 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, you may recall that a year ago I announced to you here that the Volkswagen Group will increasingly focus on qualitative growth. And this means that we don't just want to become larger and larger. Above all, we want to get better and better. We want to improve our technologies and products, our customer and employee satisfaction, our environmental protection, and of course, our earnings power. And we're working on this full speed ahead and with great success. We delivered more than 10 million vehicles for the first time in 2014, for example, 4 years earlier than actually planned. And we generated sales revenues of more than 200 billion euros for the first time. And for the first time, we recorded an operating profit of more than 12 billion euros. To be precise, it was 12.7 billion euros. Our pre-tax return on sales was up by 1 percentage point to 7.3%. And this means that we're on track for a figure of more than 8% over the long term. And this is the target that we've set ourselves for the group by 2018. Net liquidity in the automotive division at the end of March was over 20 billion euros. In other words, the Volkswagen Group is and will remain a company with rock-solid finances. All of this success is the result of a strong team performance, and you, our shareholders, are an important part of this team, and this means you should, of course, also reap the rewards, and that is why the Board of Management and the Supervisory Board are proposing a substantially higher dividend of 4.80 euros per ordinary share and 4.86 euros per preferred share to the AGM. To put this into perspective, this is 80 cents or 20% more than in the previous year. That's worth a hand, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Volkswagen keeps its word and reliably delivers the results it has promised. We have a robust position that can even be maintained under the toughest conditions. In a world full of uncertainties, in an industry characterized by ups and downs, your company therefore represents something special, real value and reliability. The picture for 2014, therefore, was more than just a snapshot. It was, in fact, the latest chapter in an impressive and sustained success story. At this juncture, I'd like to glance back at 2007, which was the year in which our Strategy 2018 was born. Since 2007, we've increased our deliveries to customers by around 4 million vehicles per year. And since then, we've increased our share of the global passenger car market by more than 3 percentage points. In other words, 1 in every 8 new cars in the world today is delivered from the Volkswagen Group. And since then, we've created more than 140,000 new jobs, including 55,000 here in Germany alone. Thank you. And since then, the price of our preferred shares, including dividends, has increased almost 5-fold. Now, to put this into perspective, in the same time period, the German stock market index, the DAX, didn't even double. And since then, we've almost doubled our sales revenue, while our operating profit has actually more than doubled. And in fact, we've actually done better than these figures indicated, because neither our sales revenue nor our operating profit include the contribution from our 2 Chinese joint ventures. And that's because we've always accounted for the business of our joint ventures in China using the equity method. So it's only reported in the financial earnings. The figures involved are now quite substantial. In 2014, our share of the operating profit generated in China by the joint ventures was about 5.2 billion euros, and that's about 900 million euros more than in the previous year. So to correctly assess the Volkswagen Group's performance, you would in fact have to add this amount to consolidated operating profit. And as a group, that would give us an operating profit of almost 18 billion euros, which would put Volkswagen amongst the best in the automotive industry.